at your house?
Yeah, this is at my house.
Shit, bro.
Here we
We could
go.
have walked there.
I was gonna say we could have just came up.
Coming from the Caveman Studios in Buffalo, New York. Welcome to Caveman Corner with your host, Jeff.
Captain Caveman!
Dance.
Click subscribe and the bell. Do it now!
Hello, guys. Welcome back. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. I like that you just turned enough just to almost cut Mike out, but not quite enough.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to, like, he turned it up, so I'm like, it's backwards. There we go. There we go.
Perfect. How you like to open?
Dude, I thought it went really well. Honestly, it ran pretty smooth. Like, I mean, you're always going to have, like, little hiccups and people aren't going to, like, hear, like, them being called and stuff. But I felt like it was really ran well. Like, it was smooth. Like,
Dude, so today was a great day. I thought it was like good vibes overall. I remember walking past Josh Reinhardt and Joe Hacken and just like boom, just touching him as I'm walking. And then I like took a step back. I'm like, bro, I don't know why this is, but today when I go out, I just want to touch everybody. I give them five, touch them, give them a hug, whatever. I don't know. It's always just good vibes.
I love it. It was like, man, everyone seemed pretty. Sometimes our community can be pretty contentious, and I thought everything was like really, really smooth today. Everyone was pretty happy to be there. Everyone, got along. Even the people that don't really like each other, everyone got along. It was like it was really good to
I
see.
don't think it was tense. I don't think it was intense at all. I don't think there was any tension.
No,
honestly,
not at
I
all.
feel like this was one of the first years that it, like, kind of was a little bit more chilled and relaxed without, like, that tension. Which is kind of funny, like you said, because a lot of, like, when we did the podcast just a couple days ago, we were talking about, like, how there's been a lot of movement of teams lately. So I expected it, I think, to be a little bit more tense, but it actually was pretty chill.
Yeah, I only got like one dirty look from old gym owner for whatever reason that is, but it's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah. I think probably the highlight for me in the tournament today was watching Matt Flores get his black belt. I was excited to see that.
Unfortunately, I was competing and I missed it.
Yeah.
I was I think me and Kevin or me and Cameron, one of the two. I didn't even hear it till after.
It was you and Cameron
Was it
because
you
I
and
was
Cameron?
with him because I was videotaping his matches. And then right after, I was like kind of like he got done. So I like took a step back and I was by the barrier and somebody said something to me. I don't even remember who it was. It might have been, I don't even remember, Pedro or Dan was like, hey, I think Matt Flores just got his black belt. I'm like, what? I'm like, that is awesome. And then he had just happened to come like walking towards me and I started screaming. I was like, ah! I'm like, ah!
I wish I would have saw.
I gave him the biggest hug because I was super happy for him because like we had started really close to like similar time. So we like kind of went through like the whole journey together. So I was really excited for him. He's such a good dude. Like, I don't know. And what him and his brother Jose are doing is awesome over at their place.
Yeah, I love it too. He won his match. He's like, watch this. I'm gonna go get that stuff for my black belt. Go watch this. Go get everybody. We're gonna go do it. Go get Jose. I'm gonna go get my black belt right now. That was awesome. It was so good. I was so happy for him. I love him to death. Like we were kids coaches together for a really long time, and man, he's a good person. And no one loves jiu-jitsu more than him. I mean, people can love it equally, but no one can love it more than him. And man, I'm so happy to see that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think too, like he just loves teaching like so much too. Like he's all about like spreading the knowledge and stuff like that, which he's just such a personable dude. Like you can't ever hate that dude. Like I don't think I've ever met anybody that ever had anything bad to say about Matt Flores. Like
I know somebody.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably.
No, it was about a motorcycle. It was a business deal, but it was fun.
Oh.
Okay, I thought it was another.
Yeah, that dude owes me money. I was like, good luck getting money from that guy. He'll choke your shit out like somebody from my work.
I mean, yeah.
You guys gave me a dirty look, but I guess
No.
I know.
Oh, I was gonna say yeah. Yeah, no, I was gonna say I never heard anything bad about him. He's just such a good dude, so lighthearted. Like he always wants for the best, like for his teammates, his students. Like I I was like helping coach today, and I was like coaching one of like the female students that train at our gym, and I will say nobody is louder than the crew from Takeover. Like if you are from Takeover, they are the most loudest, rowdy, like bunch. Like the person could be like losing or down, and dude, they are still screaming and shouting. She was like, I couldn't even hear you. I go, I was trying so hard to scream to you, but I was like, I can't like overpower them. I'm like, they are a very rowdy bunch.
It's a big advantage too because like it makes you like it gets in your head sometimes when you're competing against. I mean, like not us because we're like pretty experienced, but if you haven't competed very much and you got like 30, 40 people yelling against you, like it's hard to compete against that. It's good energy.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. Like WNY used to be like that. I don't really like me personally. I don't really like that much, but I like
Yeah.
I'm so happy for them guys. Like it works for them, and
I'm actually kind of more motivated to disappoint all those people. To me, I would honestly rather have, like, I told Ashley, there's so many people that told me, what time do you compete? Dude, I can't wait to watch you. I'm like, bro, you're making me nervous. Like, I don't want to disappoint you. I'd rather have nobody watch me, as opposed to like 100 people watching you. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, damn. So like, to me, it's motivating, going against a big crowd,
I love having that pressure on me. I like it when it's on me. I like
Yeah.
everyone looking at you.
Well, that was like the girl that I faced in Toronto. Like, she's awesome. We're like friends, but she's very well known in that area, and everybody loves her. Like, she's been there forever. We actually got our black belts on the same day together, and I went against her in the Toronto Open, and it was wild to hear like everybody, like, it's like you said, it's a different experience when everybody's rooting against you. You feel like, but as like I don't even care if I'm losing. Like, this girl's not submitting me. Like, I am not giving up, and like I kept going through the whole like match. Like, it is like motivating, but like it's also like it's a different experience. Like, one of our female students went against a female from Takeover, and I like had that pep talk with her before, and I go, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I go, they're gonna be very loud and very like cheering. I go, you just gotta stay calm. I go, it's gonna be like you're gonna feel like overwhelmed with how loud and stuff they are. I go, but they're just like rooting for their teammate. Like, they're a very like proud bunch. I go, just try to like stay calm and do the best you can.
I like it. I like it. It's good for them, man. I don't think it's wrong. I just like I don't like it. I like the
Yeah.
quiet guys are like, yay, let's go. Like
Yeah, I
that.
don't like people like yelling. Like, me and him have a very like, I think that's why we were like so well like in competition, like when we're both competing and stuff, is because we both know exactly like how each other like want to be coached. Like, we're both like, just tell me the time, like tell me I'm doing okay, like don't like yell and scream at me, like let's just be like chill, and like maybe say like little things here and there, but not like a whole bunch of things. Like, now to be like, hey, do a triangle.
Yeah, like to me, I got yelled at enough as a kid. So to me, getting yelled at isn't a motivating factor for me. It actually like turns me off. Is where I was shut down. If you so like Corey Webster, I used to take his cardio kickboxing class, and I'd be like, all right, man, only 10 more seconds. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I got 10 seconds. But for you, Corey, I will, man, because you believe me. Then I've had other coaches where, I don't know if they came military background, whatever it was, they're like, go, you fucking maggot, you fucking go. I'm like, I can't, I quit, I can't. And I told Ashley, I'm not going to that class no more. I can't get yelled at like that.
Yeah. Me,
I like
I'm
them
like,
both.
I guess I'm fine. And yeah, I was just say, yeah, I'm fine in either. Because some days I feel like I need that like kick in the ass where I'm like, I need somebody to be like, no, you're not quitting. Like, you're doing this. And then sometimes like I just need that little motivation where you're like, you're doing good. You're solid. Like, it's cool.
So like MMA, right? You fought MMA, right? Before. All right. So it's one thing like when somebody's like up, go, 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 go. But then if you don't, one, you're telling your opponent you couldn't do what you were supposed to do. Two, you're telling the judges you can't do what you're supposed to. I would rather like be in a bad position and just be like, you're doing great. You know what to do from here. You're good. So then it's like you feel at ease. You're comfortable. And then also your opponent, it doesn't give them that edge. Like when somebody's yelling, get up, and they're stopping you from getting up. You know what I mean? That's just the way I look at it.
I like
Yeah,
it.
that makes
That's a good
Mhm.
good thought. I never thought about it quite like that. Maybe I shouldn't keep
Because
screaming up
maybe,
about.
yeah, maybe the
Mhm.
dude's like, damn, he is comfortable here. He seems calm. Like maybe he knows something from this position that I should be worried about. You know, it maybe gets them to second guess themselves. Me, I like to be calm, like in certain bad positions, and I just want like a nice calming atmosphere. Like
I
I don't
mean,
need any more stress. Like somebody throws you in a submission, go, you gotta get out, get out. Oh shit! Then you start to panic. But if you're like, it's okay, you're good, breathe, everything's good.
I mean, I did almost want to go crazy when he like shot for a takedown against you because I was like, it was so out of character for him, and I was like, wow, like really? I thought it was a little crazy, but I respected it. Like, but I was like a little like, interesting game plan there.
I was so shocked that you shot in at me. I didn't even bump you with my hips. I was like, oh man,
See,
what's going on?
I go
Yeah,
for
I
takedowns
know.
more,
That's why I was
but
like,
maybe I don't go for
I was
takedowns.
shocked too. I was like, interesting game plan, but I respect it. Like,
So my first match, I tried a flying armbar. You wouldn't even know that in my head, it looked a lot different. And then I literally just axe kicked Kevin in the head. And I was so I needed to get 90 degrees to my right. I think I was -3 degrees on that thing. I think I went the opposite way. It was bad. So in my head,
I didn't know you were going for
yeah,
that.
I watched it a bunch of times. This guy Peter Frank that I really like a lot. So people think I dyed my hair like Gordon Ryan. Like Peter Frank is the man. He's got a highlight reel. Piter Frank, #1 Masters 1 in the world.
Just filthy.
Yeah, he's got
So good.
just a highlight reel on all these guys with flying armbars. And I'm like, I told Kevin, I go, I have never repped a flying armbar in my life. I go, I've repped flying triangles a couple times, but I've never armbar. But I watched it enough. I was like, I think I could do it. After watching it, it was so bad.
Yeah, he was like practicing the grips because we brought out the mats of our house because it was funny because you were just talking about like how much we train at the house, and just this morning before the tournament, he's like, I just want to go over a couple things. So we like rolled out the mat, and he was like, he's like going over the grip on me. He's like, I think I can hit the flying arm bar from here. And so I thought he might try it, but I didn't know that's what he was trying against Kevin until he told me. I'm like, your butt never even made it off the ground.
Yeah, it looked like I pulled guard.
I hope you like my commentary on that one.
It was actually when he pulled guard. He just watched the video when we went out to eat, and he heard you go, that was a pretty terrible, like, what did he say?
Something about the hair.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the hair, that would be a terrible guard pull, was when he thought he went for the flying arm bar.
Yeah, I didn't fly much.
And then you just hear me, like, laughing and agreeing with you, and I was like, oh.
But I'll say it was great to see everyone compete. But on top of that, like the black belts compete, yourself included. Like everyone could just like sit home and not compete. You know what I mean? And just I don't know. Like it's just good to go out there and put yourself out there. Half the people are gonna lose, right? Like somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose. So it's good to see people just go out there. So I was telling multiple people this today.
Sorry.
There's a quote by Cobrinho, and he says, I don't compete to prove, I compete to improve. So with my losses, even with my wins, I might have learned a couple things, but more so like my losses. With Mackenzie, I learned just not to go against guys that big. No, I'm just kidding. He was good. He was good. He beat me up pretty good. But
Got me pretty good too.
yeah, I gotta work better on my my triangles. It's like something that I need to pick up. I need to work on. So that's what I'm gonna be improving on. And that's what I'm gonna look forward to, like in the next journey, like working on improving that part. And I'm gonna rewatch a couple of the matches, and I'm sure there's other things. Me and Ashley watched them in the car when we went to the parking lot when we went to eat, and I was like, I could have did this. I was like, right here, I should have done this. How many things was it? Like 5 things?
I was gonna say, I feel like that's the one thing we always do, because we usually always, like, one of us will, like, if we are not competing at the same time, one of us will, like, film, and, like, that's one of the things, like, even if we don't film, I feel like we're self-aware enough of, like, ourselves, like, after, like, it's always, like, the things that you could have done that, like, we always will, like, talk about it afterwards, like in a constructive thing. Like we don't like focus on it where it's solely like, oh my god, like we're terrible and like. But I mean, everybody I think has that like feeling when they compete, like especially if you take a loss, like the things that you could have done differently. Where I feel like it's important to have that like thought, and like kind of it's helpful to have like somebody else to mull it over with. Where I'm like he'll be like, oh, like I should have went here, 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 and then like it's sometimes hard to see all the time when you're looking at it, like when you're the person in the match, but when you're looking at it from an objective, like outside standpoint, like you can see a little bit more. It becomes a little bit more clear. So it's always cool to like kind of bounce stuff off of each other. I will say though, I will totally shout you out, like for competing and doing as much coaching as you do in one day, because first of all, like coaching in itself, like we were talking to Eduardo about it, it's extremely draining, and it's a lot of like just mental stuff and always bouncing around, and like especially in like tournaments where it's like local, like you're gonna have a lot of students and like you can't be in a million places at once. Like I was helping Eduardo, like a couple of our other like higher belts were like helping trying to coach when he would be like with somebody else, and I'm like, man, I don't know how people do this, like especially you that does it like a whole bunch of it, and like from kids, because you guys had kids and then up into adults, and then like compete. Like I was like, I don't know how he does it.
It's so tough. Like you could see it my first match. I just wasn't ready. Like I was literally running. I had to run to do my weigh-ins like while everyone's like competing. So I have to run in a break to weigh in. Then I have to run back, and then like like everyone's competing. I have to run to change before I'm up. And then I'm up, and all of a sudden like I just barely got my gi on. Didn't really stretch. Didn't warm up. And it was time to go. And I thought I had the best of 3 too. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna hold back a little bit in this match, and then like I'll get it in the second and third, because it was like a warm up, and then it really wasn't a warm up.
Yeah, that's what we were all talking about. Like, and I thought it maybe just happened to you, because I know we had talked about it at the thing. That was the one thing I was like really confused about, because if you look at like the brackets, like they said that, but I had a couple people from our team that had like one person, and they're like, hey, they didn't let me do like the best of 3. It was just the one match and done. And it just happened to be after, because you obviously went first. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's what they're doing. But it was very strange, because I don't think anybody was aware of that prior to going in it. I guess that would be honestly my only like critique of the actual tournament, was that it was like kind of misleading in that way, because some people thought like they would have more matches. And I guess it like, I mean, you always want to try your best, but when you know going into it you have 3 matches, I think people are going to pace themselves to a certain point. And I was like, I just wish people were a little bit more like aware of that, or told that prior that it wasn't going to be that.
I had that happen to me last year. I thought it was best of 3. I was down a ton of points. I wasn't coming back, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try to conserve this last minute or something. There's no point of trying to I'm going to have 2 more matches, hopefully. I'm at least going to get 1 more match. I'd rather conserve myself, give myself a good chance to win the second match. And then I came back, and I was like, are we going again? They're like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? It literally says on the sheet, the night before, best of 3. So I think that's just the one thing that they could fix, is just let people be, what's the word? Transparency? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that was my, that was the motto for my old work.
So,
trust and transparency.
Yeah, so just, I just want to know if, I don't care what it is, if it's 1 or 3 matches. I just want to know ahead of time what I'm going into. Am I doing a 5-minute sprint, or am I going to have a best of 3,
Yeah, I agree. And Josh is all about transparency. I'm sure he will he'll discuss it with us. He'll be open to talk about it. I mean, I'll message him and I'll see what he says about it too. Like, I don't think, like, I don't know, like they're pretty transparent, and most of the time, if you lose, you're out anyways in the adult division. So, like, I don't know, I understand. Plus, it's free for us. If they just did it for the black belts, like the black belts don't get one, that would be great too. Like they're letting us compete
I was
for
wondering
free.
if it had something to do with like, because I know that like you guys had started later, the kids had ran a little bit behind, and I didn't like. I assumed that maybe it was because of like timing and scheduling conflict, which I'm fine with. Sometimes things like jiu-jitsu tournaments, as much as you try to run them on time, don't usually. But I feel like everything still ran pretty smooth, honestly.
But there was also other matches after that where they did best of 3.
There was?
Yeah,
Oh,
Nolan and Joe.
No, that wasn't best of 3. There was 3 people in the bracket.
Oh, is there 3?
Yeah.
But I feel like there was matches that. There was. That Justin from my team. He had a best of 3 against a guy on your team.
Oh, Alex? No,
No.
Alex wasn't
He's
one.
he's a bigger guy.
Masters 2.
Oh,
maybe.
Jared. Yeah, Jared. Yeah, they
so
did
they
best
had
of 3.
they had a best of 3. So
Yeah,
Oh,
he
I
actually
didn't
commented in
see
here.
that.
yeah.
This guy right
Honestly.
here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
hey.
so then, one other thing, which it's just a mistake, but they just need to, the scorekeepers need to know. So I had my first match with Kevin. The loser of that first match is supposed to go against the person who had the bye or didn't have a match on the other side of the bracket when there's a group of 3. So then they told me I was going against Cameron the next match, and I was like, no. I go, Kevin is supposed to go against Cameron. And they're like, no. And I literally looked at the paper. I said, look, right here. It says L1. It says Cameron versus L1. That means the loser of match 1. I go, because Kevin could still come back and win the bracket. If he beats Cameron, then whoever wins that match is going to go to the final. I think they just need to be everybody. You know what I mean? I honestly wasn't 100%. I had that happen to me at the Toronto Open the first time. It was a bracket of 3. I just assumed the other guy was in the finals automatically. I was down on points, and I was like trying my ass like to get those points to win, not knowing that I had a match 5 minutes later against the other guy. I thought I was done, and they're like, "Oh, you're competing in 5 minutes." I was like, "Oh shit!" Same thing. I would have just paced myself a little better, or maybe not. Just went at it 150%, knowing that I had another match.
Well, I learned that rule today when I went against you in the Open.
Yeah. And then I thought about it after you were like, "Oh, I have the bye," and then I'm like, "Oh, I should probably tell him." And then like I looked behind me and you weren't there, and I was like, "Crap!" And then Mike was up, so I was like, "Oh, well, I guess he'll figure it out."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Because I think it's like one of those weird things because the way like it looks in the bracket, you almost think
Yeah.
like it's just the bye because like
Mhm.
the same thing happened to me. The only reason why I knew is because when I did the Toronto Open last last fall, there was only 3 of us, in the bracket, and that's how it worked out too.
They
So
put it in small print, like it is in small print where it says L of match 1.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to figure that out. I should probably know the rules as a coach.
no. You did good. Like I said, I shout out anybody who like
Dude, you did
coaches
awesome.
and competes because to do like one or the other, like dude, I have a high respect for anybody that like competes out. Like we were just saying like the one thing like we wanted to touch on the most is like, and I'm sure you see it too with a lot of like your more newer students, people that haven't competed as well. Like it's so easy to get so frustrated on like losses and to get so down on themselves. And like I never want somebody to feel so discouraged where they don't want to do it anymore. Because I do think it is good to compete. And I'm like, it's so like important. Like one of the things that the head of our old affiliation used to always say that really stuck with both of us is like nobody cares. Like nobody's gonna remember a week from today, a year from today, like that you lost your match at like your first match at white belt or even your match at like brown and black belt. Like nobody's really gonna remember it except you. Like we're our own worst critics, and like you're still putting yourself out there. Like you're still like doing your best. Like especially like as a coach or a teacher, like that's all I can ask people. It's like just try your best. Like don't give up. Like just try your best. Like go out there. Like Mike said, half of the people there are gonna lose. Like you're not all gonna win. But like it's just like good to know that like, and I think it's just that like thing because we all like put pressure on ourselves. Like you always want to do good, and especially in front of your teammates and the people that like are there to watch you. But like it's not the end of the world. Like you're still gonna like learn, and like I always just feel bad when you see the people that are so down on themselves. And like I even told one of our the people that we train with, she lost and she was really upset. And I was like, it's okay. Like we all lose. Like all of us here have lost. Like all the black belts that teach classes that you take, all of us have lost. Like It's totally fine. Like, we never like want to lose, but it happens. And I was like, to make you feel better, I go, I got choked unconscious on a live stream event, and I go, it's still posted on YouTube for people to see. I go, but I still like compete when I can. Like, it wasn't the end of the world. Like, as like embarrassed as I was at that time, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this just happened to me. Like, I was like, it's okay. That's Dee Dee, by the way. She likes to be on all appearances.
Yeah, George Brito, if you're watching this, we love you, man. We miss you.
Yes.
But he is
Hard
great.
hands.
But yeah, he told us. He goes, I'm pretty sure. No, he'd always say, nobody cares, work harder, right? It was basically along the line where he said, he goes, dude, I'm pretty sure nobody asked me what my record was before they came to this seminar, right? Nobody knows his record. I don't know my record, right? I told Ashley, I go, I have wins and losses. Me, like, that I was there, I competed, that I don't remember, right? Especially like right now, maybe we got concussions and all that stuff. But there's stuff I don't remember.
You guys know.
You think I remember that somebody lost in 2016? You know what I mean? I don't care. One thing I do want to touch on too is I was talking about this with somebody else earlier. We were talking about somebody in particular, about how they used to lie, right? About their competing, right? They'd be like, oh, I went to this gym, and you're not going to believe this. I need our Dylan Davis. Okay, sure. So the guy told, and this was when Dylan Davis was in his prime, right?
Not Dylan Davis now.
Yeah, double gold, brown belt champion. This was, yeah, I went to Marcellus. You're not going to believe this. All right, I need our, okay, sure you did. All right. So, like, you don't have to lie. That's the one nice thing. Think about this as competing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I lose, everybody knows my skill level, right? That has rolled with me, right? They know where I'm at, whether I'm terrible or whether they think I'm good. Whatever they think, they know. So me competing doesn't have those people that have rolled with me think any different than me, right? They know what I'm at. So say they put somebody at like a skill level of, I don't know, say like a 7, right, out of 10. I don't know, just for example. Say they go to a gym and they say, man, I lost to everybody there. Man, everybody. We would know, be like, wow, those guys must be good. If we think that you're like a 7 out of 10, man, those guys must be 8, 9, 10, right? It doesn't change your number, right? But then if you go there and I smashed everybody, all right, well, you're still that same person. Like, nothing changed is going to change our opinion, you know? Like, you're still the same person, where the maths don't lie. We know, so we don't think any less of you, any more of you. Like, just go out and compete.
You have to learn how to compete too. It's not just your skill level. Sometimes it's like letting yourself loose on the mats, understand strategy. Like the first match when we talked about earlier, like we're holding back when we, like that's strategy that we've developed over time. Like if you think you have 3 matches, you're gonna hold a little bit back, and like that takes time. Sometimes you blow yourself out in the first match and lose to someone that you could have beat, and that happens too.
So all my students, I tell them, if you're listening, if you go to a tournament or a seminar, you pay that X amount of money, right? Whatever it is, $8,500, whatever it is. Just try to take one thing from that tournament or seminar. Just try to learn one thing, and then you get to carry that throughout your jiu-jitsu journey, right? So you go to your tournament, and you realize something. Okay, just learn something. Be like, I need to work on my cardio. I need to work on getting stronger. I need to maybe not have as big of a breakfast in the morning. Maybe I need to, the weight class I was in was just a little bit too big. Maybe I should cut down a few pounds. Just try to learn one thing, and then you get to carry that throughout your journey, right?
Maybe not cut too much. We were talking about that earlier too.
Exactly.
Like,
that's another.
You'd rather go against a bigger than a faster guy.
Yeah, one thing I used to do is I used to take these nice Epsom salt baths. And I'm never honestly worried about weight. I usually just compete up. I honestly feel like I do better against bigger guys than smaller guys. So I would just take a nice Epsom salt bath the night before to kind of relax my muscles or whatever, and just relax. Think about the match, whatever. But then the last couple times I've done it, when I competed, I felt like I had like really bad cotton mouth when I was competing. So this time I didn't do it, and I felt a lot better. Maybe it was just this particular time, but I feel like the Epsom salt
Or the blonde hair.
yeah, blonde hair. It took added weight out that I didn't need to. It dehydrated me a little bit. In fact, I actually did the opposite. I had 5 pounds to go for division allowance. You know, I was 5 pounds under. I was drinking as much water as I could yesterday, so that way I wanted to feel hydrated throughout the tournament. I didn't want to drink too much water in the morning and then feel bloated. So the night before or the day before, I was drinking as much water as I could.
It was nice. Like the good thing for me is I'm super light, so normally there's no one in my weight class, and this time it really paid off because I don't think if I was cutting weight, man, I would not have been able to get through today with like coaching everybody and stuff.
Oh, dude.
I could not believe how light you were when you told me. I was just like, what? Like, I mean, Jeff's like a smaller guy, but like, you're also like a fit guy. Like, I will say that, like, and I don't even say this because I'm like your friend, and I always tell people, I'm like, I don't know anybody who works like harder than you, like day to day, like just at the gym, working like full time. Like, I don't know many people that are as dedicated to what they do as you are. Like, it's nuts. Like, I really respect it, is what I'm saying.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Respect.
Cheers me up, kind of.
Respect.
It's
No,
hard
it's
work.
true. Like, yeah, no, it is. That's why I said, like, I respect it because, like, me and Mike don't even teach as much as you do, but we both have full-time jobs, and teaching and jujitsu is like a huge part of our life, and I know how much it is, like, for both of us. And you do that, like, double the amount that we do. And I was like, dude, we always talk about, I'm like, man, I don't know how Jeff does it. Like, he just, like, keeps going and does it, and always have a super huge, I know, which is by the way. But I know. I seen Amanda like saying kitty, and then I'm like, she's gonna stick her butthole in the camera. Yeah, no, like I said, I have a huge respect for like a lot of the people in this like community and stuff that like really put a lot into this and try and care, and like that's what I said. Like I even told Josh when we saw him after the tournament, I'm like, this was a great tournament. Like it's so well run. Like he's such a good person, down to earth. And I even told, we were like, hey, we watched your podcast and it was great. Still getting a lot of really good feedback on your podcast. Everybody loves it. Like people that probably don't even know you, but I just have to tell you that too.
Good.
Kevin was talking about it. He was like, your podcast was on kind of late. He goes, but I stayed up for most of it. And I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that.
One thing before I forget or whatever I want to touch on is I want to thank you along with the other instructors that are keeping the integrity of the belt in jiu-jitsu. I want people to earn this. I'll say, I can't remember the girl's name, but she was one of the girls that we went to the seminar at Buma. She got her purple belt. We actually ran into her at Tapo. We went out to eat afterwards. What's her name? Do you remember?
I think is it Kayla?
Might be. I don't know. There was 2 purple belts, right? Dude, they know how much they work to get to and earn their purple belts, right? Dude, they were crying.
Well, Uli too. Like Uli, like they all got their purple belts on the same day, and they were emotional. And like, I mean, I knew Uli, but I wasn't like super familiar with the other 2 girls. But like, I was like emotional for them because like I remember how I felt when I got my purple belt. Like I said, purple belt was almost like the black belt at that point. And like, you know, when people like get emotional, even when we saw Free get promoted at your gym, like how emotional he was. I'm like, it's a perfect example of like somebody that really put in the time, they put in the effort, and really earned it. Sorry, I was laughing at like comments and also this cat.
I
Caitlin and Rebecca. Yeah, that's who it
That's
was.
Caitlin and
Caitlin
Rebecca were their names.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at names.
But they're awesome. Both really nice, like girls and stuff.
But
like
this is
awesome.
any belt. This is blue. This is purple. This is brown. This is black. So they say on average it takes 10 years to get a black belt, right? So what's that? About 2.5 years per belt. To me, that's average, right? So to me, average is you're going 2 days a week. I don't know how you feel about it. To me, the average is 2 days a week is going to take you 10 years. to me, I think too now with there's so much more information now, and I also think that we learn from our mistakes, right? When we grew up, I mean, you were learning from a black belt or brown. I don't know what Chuck was at the time, but when I was coming up, I learned from this was 15 and a half years ago. I was learning from Matt Godwin, who was a blue belt at the time. A couple months later, he got.
I was I was going to Kyle Saunders like in a blue belt back in the '90s too, like with Josh back in the day,
yeah.
like
So we were
old
learning.
school.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so we're learning from lower belts, right?
Oh yeah, because you mentioned even like in like the garages and stuff that you used
Yeah,
to train
yeah.
at,
Back
and
in
just like
we used to
wherever
just
there
get
was like
together.
mats. Yeah.
So the training now is much better, right? If you come to any gym, they're going to have some black belts that have been around a long time. So I think the training is better. And there's more information on YouTube. But I'll also say with that, because there's more information and they have better training, I'm holding my students to a higher standard when I belt them. Just because, so 2 classes to me is still normal. You know, to me, somebody to get their purple belt in 8 years, I would say, or get their black belt in 8 years, I would say that's going 4 or 5 times a week. To me, I don't know. Your thoughts on that?
I'm about there. I started in '95. I got my black belt in 2018. I was training like 6 days a week.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, that was different though. Like
That's nuts.
that was crazy. Like I just remember like, oh my god, I still remember meeting you, and then like when somebody like said like, how long you been training? I'm like, wait, what? Like,
So
huh?
so I'm gonna
Like
give you
it
this.
didn't even like make sense in my brain.
You are one of the exceptions.
Yes.
Cut it out.
Sorry, our cats are
Cats
fighting.
are nuts. Well, you're one of the exceptions. We're long overdue, right? And there's somebody I want to promote soon that I think is long overdue. And I hate saying long overdue, but you'll understand.
Definitely an OG.
You'll understand.
Kevin's on. Hey,
You'll
Kevin.
understand when it
Yeah, he said earlier his bedtime's too late. His bedtime's 10.
happens.
Gotta go to
That's
bed
why we
already.
did it earlier.
I
had
was
moved
saying,
these
yeah.
cards.
Kevin is like super nice, like one of the nicest dudes. Like he's another one, like one of the nicest dudes like I've ever met, like with training and stuff. Just like super good, like I don't know, like good vibes. Like he's always just so nice and like chill. He always likes
Yeah,
all
he
of my
rooted for
cat
Mike.
pictures.
I needed it though. To be fair, I needed it.
You were winning, so
It's
you
an
were
help.
already at
It's
an
an help.
advantage.
It's an help.
Like I said, I should have like just switched sides and then rooted for
Yeah.
you and be like, Mike's takedowns are trash.
I feel like
Don't let him take you down.
he might have been double agent for all I know.
True.
If he's
Is
telling
that
you to
like
take
it?
you down, he was.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say,
The
you
hell
probably
was
known Kevin
What the
for a
hell
really
is
long.
that? No advice to take him down. The hell advice is that?
Kevin was me and Kevin went on from blue to I was out there at purple, but we went through blue to purple and like we started together, we trained together, we fought together. He was kind of soft. Kevin, if you're still watching, you were soft at one time we cut weight in the sauna and I had to like carry you out. But other than that, you're a tough ass dude.
Dude, I'm not even gonna hate on him because like I like will not like cut weight for like jujitsu or anything. Like I'm very much like I'll like suffer for a couple months and diet down and try to do it slowly because ask it like I tell Mike I go I'm such a little baby. I don't like being like overly hot and like sweating. Like I'm dying. Like I did it like once like years ago when I competed, but I was just like, oh, dude, I'll like just suffer for a couple months and eat super clean and try to work out more. But yeah, like sweating in a sauna is not my thing either. I would be just as
Yeah,
bad.
Kevin's not very good at it. You didn't almost die. Bro, you had a lot to go. You should have been fighting 35 like Pat. You could make it, no
So
problem.
I'll ask.
Yeah, right.
I'll ask you this. Personality. All right. I was just reading the comments.
Yeah. Oh,
so-
Jason. Oh, Jason.
Jason, we love you too, buddy. I don't
Got
know
nice hair.
if this thought has ever crossed your mind. So when I was cutting weight, there would be a point where I did the Epsom salt, I do the steam room. Was there ever a thought in your head when you were cutting weight? This happened to me, where you were just like, you know what? I don't really need my pinky anymore. What if I just cut it off, and then weigh in, and then I could just sew it back on. And then I'd be like, "What are you, stupid?" Like it would be like for a tenth of a second, I'd be like, "Dude, do I even need my pinky?" And then I'd be like, "Dude, what are you doing? Get out of the steamer, man. You kind of losing it." Did that ever
I
cross
actually
your
thought
mind?
about bleeding myself out. I was like, if I just bleed my blood out, I'll be way lighter.
I never thought about that.
Ew, God, no.
Yeah, and it's way easier because then you can just
Shannon's
like put a band-aid
my
on. You're
sister
all set.
Shannon's like, oh God.
I never even.
But yeah, no, I would never. I mean, I have seen like girls like shave their head and cut their hair short, but unfortunately, like I'm already there. Like, there's no hair that I mean, I do have a lot of hair, but there's not much that I'm cutting off. But I thought I was gonna have to do that just like the 113, then I ended up 110.
So, like, I don't think it's really all that wise to cut for these tournaments specifically because, like, you weigh in, then you have to compete right away. So it's way different. You know, like here you can't rehydrate, so cutting all that water out is gonna hurt you. It's not like a fight where you cut weight and then you weigh in, you rehydrate, and you fight the next day. This is like
Oh
you're
yeah,
going
that's
right
what
up. So don't
we tell
if you're
people
listening
that
to
all
us,
the
don't
time.
do any of these cuttings for jujitsu. It's not the right
Keep your
right
feet
thing.
healthy.
Yeah, no, we tell
I-
people that all the time.
I was
Like,
telling one of my students yesterday. He was asking me if I cut weight, and I was like, "No." I go, "If anything, I'll diet. I'll diet a little bit. I'll try to get in better shape. I will lose. I'll lose.
Ashton or Amanda's got your back.
Yeah, no problem. Blood's stupid.
But I'll lose a couple pounds just to feel better. Like I don't feel like say when I'm 190 that I'm so strong. But I'll say my difference between 190 to 185. I just feel like my cardio's a little bit better. I feel a little bit lighter. I feel a little bit more flexible. I can move better. So I feel like the 5 pounds that I'm giving up, actually helps me. So I'm not losing weight to like get in a lower weight class. I feel like I'm losing it just to feel better during the tournament.
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel
what
the
I was
same
saying,
way.
I feel
student
like-
I had, I'm sorry.
No.
The student I had, he was telling me he went from like 195 to 175, but he did it over a couple months. And I was like, that's the perfect way to do it. I said, when I was cutting weight for fights, I had over 24 hours to rehydrate, and that's only one match. When you have jiu-jitsu tournaments, you weigh in, I don't know, maybe an hour if you do the Buffalo Classic, but a lot of times it's a much shorter time than that, and you're going to be more fatigued.
At the big events, you're like literally weighing in and almost stepping on the mats.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, like, I'm very much in agreements, like, with you. Like, it's just not like, to me, it's not practical to cut a lot of weight and then do jujitsu because you're just gonna feel like just like lousy. Like you said, you don't have the proper time to rehydrate and stuff like that. I'm definitely more of like an advocate for like slow and steady. And I'm always like, never like kill yourself. Like at the end of the day, I feel like I always tell people like everybody has the sweet spot, I call it, of where they feel the best. Like there's like a weight range where everybody feels the best. Like he said, he'll like start eating healthy and try to work out to lose like a couple pounds just because he feels a little bit better. He feels a little bit faster. You know, day to day, like we're probably not going to be on our like total best behavior and always like eating the healthiest and like doing everything like we would if we're getting ready to compete. There's things that you're going to change like in the month leading up to competing that are just going to help like your performance wise. Like I always say, focus on feeling better instead of like the actual like number weight. Like wherever you feel the best at is where you should compete at. Like I feel a little bit better competing at light feather because I feel like, and it's not that I'm like stronger than those girls. I went against girls at light feather that were stronger than me, but I feel like the best like shape I'm in. I feel like my cardio is better. I feel like I'm faster. I feel like I'm more mobile. I don't feel like I'm carrying as much weight. So like that's like usually my like sweet spot. Could I possibly cut down to Rooster? Mike thought I could, but I was like, I would probably die. I'm a little dramatic. Like
We were talking about that at
like,
Lightman.
yeah, I was like, yeah, exactly. Like I'd be like Kevin and be like, I'm dying. Somebody cut me out of the sauna. But like, I mean, I probably maybe could, like, if I really made like an actual like, cut or something and was like very, very like strict with diet and exercise and everything like that. But I just don't feel like I would feel good though either.
Yeah. So Ashley just touched on it that I'll bring up. So if you're listening to this, right, your goal when you're training it doesn't always
People are listening.
it doesn't always have to be weight, right? So I have a friend who would always tell me my goal is to lose 5 pounds, 10
I want
pounds, 20
cookies.
pounds. My goal is to lose X amount of weight. I said that doesn't always have to be your goal. I said, instead of that, why don't you make it your goal where you're going to average 6 classes or 3 classes a week? So after 2 weeks, you're at 6. Whether you go twice one week, 4 the next week, 3 and 3, 1 and 5, whatever it is. Your goal doesn't always have to be weight loss to like see progression. Just have a goal like that. Just that you're going to go to so many classes, or hey, I'm not going to skip any rolls. I'm going to, even no matter how tired I am, I'm going to force myself to roll no matter what, even if I just have to survive.
So I got a great example of this. I have a student, Jared. He competed today. He's the one that went against your big guy. He when he started, I just posted a picture the other day, and he's like embarrassed by the picture I posted of him, his old picture. He lost so much weight, and he just comes. He's like changed his lifestyle a little bit, but he's just consistent coming to the gym. Watching him like lose weight and get healthier and healthier has just been amazing. And he's got a regular job. He misses time, but he's always consistent. He always comes back. When he's in, he works really hard. He's always trying, and you can see like just the weight loss in him. It just comes natural, like as you're training.
Yeah.
Like this is so good for you.
Dude, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats, by the way. But I always say the same thing. Like, even with like people like trying jujitsu and like thinking that they're interested in, I always say like people join for all different reasons. So like some people just want to get in better shape and do something that's like active that they really like. And we're on like, what is that page called on like Facebook? The BJJ Fanatics or something?
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of people that always share like weight loss stories even on that. And it's crazy to see like the life-changing like stories
Right,
that
just-
people
just
have
one
of
second.
doing jiu-jitsu.
I don't mean to cut you off. Nick Blackwell's in the building. Let's go. Sorry.
Who is
All right.
that?
One of
I
my
can't see it.
students.
Okay, yeah, I like the comments come so small. Like so I'm like trying to go like this. I'm like, people are probably like, what is this weirdo doing?
Yeah. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I got a shout. Nick
Oh, no,
Blackwell. He
you're
just had a
fine.
baby. Congratulations, Brett.
Oh, congrats. You have to. Yes. I mean, Amanda. It's Jeff. I always say, like, Jeff was always like, nobody made me feel more welcome in the gym besides Jeff. Because he'd always be teaching the kids class. He'd be like in the middle of like teaching, and then he'd be screaming at me as I like walked in the door. And I was like, everybody needs like a hype man like Jeff in their life because he's gonna make you like feel good. Like I can go anywhere. Like I'll be in Wegmans and he's gonna shout my name from across the room, like Ashley in the house, and I'm like, yes, I am. Like it just, I don't know, it makes you feel good. Sometimes you need those people.
You definitely do. And you're like one of those people now. That's your job now. Like you make everyone smile and be happy. That's great. That's why they like
I
your
know, I
podcast.
try. I know, I was like so self-conscious and I was so nervous leading up into it. And I was actually like talking to Josh Reinhardt today, and I go, I'm so nervous. And I go, I don't even know why I was so nervous. I go, because Jeff's my friend. Like I talk to Jeff all the time. I'm like, he's so easy to talk to, and I like am so trusting of him. Like very good dude. And I go, once I like got into it, I go, but I was just so worried that I like rambled and like sounded bad. And then like I got such like positive feedback from it, and I was like so shocked. And it was so cool to like hear all the people. Like we went into the gym the next day, and people were like, "Oh, you're internet famous! Like we watched your podcast." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I'm like, I appreciate it. And like a lot of people like actually liked like just hearing the story of even like me going from like white belt into black belt and like kind of understanding like the journey, because I think it's like hard for people to really understand. Like a lot of people know us, especially because I am new to the gym that I'm at, and like of course I know the guys that are black belts and that have been training for a long time, like they kind of know, but a lot of the newer people don't really know a ton about me and don't know even like about Mike. Like they don't know a lot of things and specific things of like what it really takes to get to there. So people really had like good feedback, and people really love you too. I think you like made it, but I was just a part of it.
No, you definitely made it. It's always the guests that make the podcast. I'm just here hosting it. I always thought when I started, I had no idea what Chuck was thinking, what his life was like, and I always wondered, like, man, he's a black belt. What does he do? Like I thought he was like a magician because he's the first black belt I ever met. Now there's a lot more of us, but like our students don't really know us. You know what I mean? Like you watch a podcast and like you sit down, like I know you feel like you're part of whatever podcast you listen to, you feel like you're part of their life. So
Over
I always wanted to make it possible for our students to know the instructors and like you get to see who you want to be with and like I think it's a good advertisement for the gyms too. Like even if I'm trying to get all the black belts on so we can all just talk and you can kind of get a feel of what the vibes are in the gym that you're gonna go to and what personality you
Yeah.
like.
My
I think it can really sell gyms too. I really want to get Guardo on too.
Yes. Oh my God.
at the
That'd be
one
awesome.
gym, they had our pictures up on the wall, and I was at, and the picture I had just looked so mean, right? I asked them to retake the picture because I want to be approachable. I want people to come up to me
It was
and ask
hilarious.
questions, right? Especially if I'm an instructor.
Everybody's obsessed with the cat.
I can't have people be worried to ask me a question. So we didn't know stuff until we were taught it, right? People are afraid, like they think we knew all this stuff. Like you think I knew a triangle until somebody taught me it. You think I knew a dart until somebody taught me it. I was in their same shoes. I think they think just because I was a black belt that it's a dumb question if they ask. Some people, if they ask me to show them something, they're afraid to ask. So I always try to be as approachable as possible and have people ask me whatever questions jiu-jitsu related that they want. Life, you don't want to ask me.
Watch Shannon's gonna comment on your parenting.
My
My
life-
sister's gonna
my
comment and be
life
like,
skills,
don't ask him
I'll
anything
do it
about
for
life.
sure. I had actually changed it. What did I have to change in the car? One day the windshield washer fluid or something?
Oh yeah, he didn't know where to put the wiper fluid.
I don't know where
And
I
like
don't
I
know
go,
where the wrong
I'm like, there's literally a label, and it looks like a little like windshield, and it has little squirters going there. And he's like, I'm gonna mess it up. So yeah, he calls me with any kind of car related
I'm
issue.
the one that holds the flashlight whenever we put something together.
Oh yeah, I put her bed frame together while he held the
I
flashlight.
can't. I mean, it
There's
is.
Shannon.
Don't do it. Yeah, I was like, I know it's coming.
I just want to circle back a little bit. I thought it was awesome that I felt like half of the people that we started with were out there competing today. Seeing Kevin compete again and Cameron, I love Cameron to death, man. Like I didn't get to train with him very much, but I'm so happy that he's overcome things in his life and like I really wanted to like really do that charity role with him. I wasn't able to do it, but maybe next time, maybe to get a super fight or something.
I didn't even
It
know
was
he
great to
was
see him. It was great to see you in there, like with those guys. I loved it. It was like the old school days.
Yeah, they were all so nice. Like I always knew about Cameron, but I never really met him. I had went to down in Jamestown years and years ago, but I only Wadsworth and Josh Roth, right? What's his name?
Yeah, Ross.
Like
Yeah, he's
they
amazing
yeah,
at
like they were
it.
they were the only two that were there, and both of them were really great and super nice. But I knew like of Cameron, but I never like met him, and like we like talked a little bit today, and he was just like, oh hey, like I don't think we ever met, and like super good dudes, so nice. Like all those dudes like that competed today were like so great and so nice. Like you said, it's so good to see like some of these guys like out there competing and stuff, even if like it's like kind of weird because like you guys all know each other at this point. But I also think it's awesome that you guys can still like compete and like especially locally and not have to worry about traveling and do that. Like I wish like there was other like female black belts to like compete against. Like that was what I was telling him. I was like, I'm almost jealous of like the like how you guys all have like this group and like can compete against each other, and then there's just like me. I'm like, there's a couple like further out, and like I was like, but it's not the same though because it's not the same like core
come in
group.
my weight class. Try me.
I
told her come in my weight
Oh,
class.
I would fight him.
I told her.
I came to your weight class. I came up.
I was gonna
told
say,
her masters.
Josh, if you're
medium
listening,
heavy.
if you want to make a super fight, I will go against this guy and watch me trash him. Like,
So, with what you're saying too, or with what Ashley like, respect to the people who are competing. I made a post about this after the Toronto Open, right? So I think it's just a respect thing. So anybody who goes out there and competes, much respect to them. So my example that I use is there's a lot of people with 26.2 on the back of their bumper, 13.1. Nobody asks them what their time is, right? Nobody's going to think any less of them if it took them 8 hours, 15 hours, whatever, when they did the marathon, right? Or half a marathon. It's just respect that people see that and
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, they just have admiration or respect for somebody who went out there and did something they didn't have to do. They don't have to prove nothing to anybody. People giving Mark Zuckerberg crap about competing in jiu-jitsu. Dude, that dude has nothing to prove to anybody. And he went out there and competed. I don't know if he's competed multiple times, but from what I saw, he went out there and competed. You know what I mean? How can you not respect that?
I just told someone the other day that Mark Zuckerberg would kick their ass. I forgot who it was, but I was like, dude, he's out there competing in jiu-jitsu.
David Whitman?
Oh my God, stop.
No, he definitely kicked David Whitman's ass.
Oh, all right.
Everybody loves the cat. She's like the fan favorite of this podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my dog get in these now, except he's too wild. He'd be eating the speaker and stuff.
I was just say I do love your dog when we met, but he is a little wild.
He's a crazy dude.
I tried having Don King Lily get a MMA match, Vail versus David Whitman. I tried that, but it never went to fruition.
I got a grappling super fight with him in the cage at
I was there.
Yeah, wherever it was, I forgot now. Somewhere in Lockport.
Was it in Lockport?
It had to be at the Keenan.
Oh no, it wasn't Lockport. It was Batavia Downs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably
ground
where
force
you
one,
had like the one in the cage.
Yeah.
Dude, I like that ground course. I actually had a super fights thing, and then it like fell through, which kind of sucked. I put a lot of work into that. I think I had like 17 or 18 matches confirmed. That's a lot of work. Like it wasn't like, hey, you want to do this match? Sure, boom, good to go. No, it was like me being the mediator, talking back and forth. Not even counting the countless people who I messaged, talked to, and I couldn't find a match or just declined. It was a lot of work, so that kind of sucked. But I did have a good time. I was upset when I did win my super fight at grappling or ground force, and I didn't get a belt. That was like the nicest belt that ground force fights won, and I didn't get one. I was actually more nervous about winning that than I was the match because I was like, man, I want that belt. It's so nice.
You win those belts.
Mike's got a lot of belts. Mike's
The
got a
prescription
belt
is more cat. We have a lot of cats. We can show you all of them.
I have 7. 4 of them are pretty heavy, but 2
I was talking about cats.
aren't that-
So I was
aren't that
looking at Kevin's comment. Now your belts. Yeah, he tries to like wear those belts randomly throughout the day and like random times. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I told you I went out with.
Don
Yeah, I told you
Lily.
that I went with Don King Lily in Mix. We watched. Where was it? The warehouse.
The warehouse.
The warehouse in somewhere near Hamburg or whatever. And
It's like kind of like we're a
I
mile
sent-
strip.
I sent him
Bro.
a picture. I said, "Listen, I'm not coming underdressed. I had my two TNT belts. I said I ain't coming under
They got 5
prepared.
cats too. 5 cat club.
Yes.
Oh my God, you guys just gotta stop with the animals. At least there's a pandemic, you can eat them. Dude, I guess that's not.
Oh
so
my
bad.
God, I would never eat. I would starve to death before I eat a cat. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't even eat like any animals because I just like I couldn't do it. Like I don't know.
Kevin, we have 2 strollers for our cats.
We do. We
Oh
take
my
them
God.
for walks. We're like really like cool. We're gonna like stroller them by Jeff's house one of these days. Like, hey Jeff.
So sometimes we'll see people with strollers and we'll look inside. Oh my God. Oh, it's kids. Never mind.
Yeah,
Then we
we're
just
not.
then we just keep walking.
We're not really kid people.
We're hoping they're
Although
kitties.
I was to say, people always think we hate kids. I don't like hate kids, but I'm just a more like pet person.
Yeah, I'm just an animal.
Kids are a lot of work. They're just fun to look at. Like you can watch someone else's kid and send them back.
Yeah, I love my nieces and nephews. Like, it's awesome. Like because like I used to watch them. I'm super close with them, and then like kind of like you said, give them back. I actually saw your kid the other day when I got my hair done. He was
Oh, yeah?
yeah, Forrest, and I can't believe like he had like a
He's got a girlfriend now?
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh
can
my
I
God.
say
You
that
went to
on
prom
like the
last
podcast?
night.
I was gonna say, can I say that on the
No,
podcast? I don't want to
Yeah.
be like that person that like blows the spot. But I
No,
was like,
he knows.
because he goes to my friend Shannon who does my hair, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, he's got a girlfriend.
Does Niall go to the same school?
No.
Niall,
Sports
he
in
went to
City Honor.
prom. Niall
Now
went
went to the prom too. Now it's
What
prom
the-
king. He had the
How are
crown and
these kids-
everything.
I know, dude.
How are these kids that old?
I know. I remember. Okay.
I thought they were in
this-
like 7th, 8th grade.
I loved when like Niall like joined like jujitsu, like regular adult jujitsu, because he was a little too old for like and like bigger for like the kids class. Because at one point he was smaller than me, and I was like, yes, finally. And then he got like super big all of a sudden. Even your kid, like Forrest, got like way friggin' taller and sprouted up. And then I'm like, dude, now the kids are bigger than me. And then now it's like, you're not gonna just ragdoll me anymore. And I was like, man, this isn't as fun anymore.
Dude, now he used to talk all the smack to me. He's like, yeah, I had my birthday. I had a cake with me arm around
He
her
told
neck."
my
I'm
dad
I'm
that.
like, what? And then he got all embarrassed. His dad's like, oh, isn't that your girlfriend over there or some shit? Like,
Oh yeah, I saw him after a Bills game the one time I went to with my dad at this pizza place, and all Niall did was talk crap about Mike to my dad, and it was the best thing ever. My
and your
dad
dad's
loved
probably
him.
jumping in on it.
Oh my god, my dad
Her
loved
dad-
Niall.
Her dad talks all this trash on me.
I mean, that's true.
Man, Niall's way bigger than me now too. Just so you guys know, they're all bigger than me. Forrest is bigger than me. Everyone's bigger than me. Sucks
Yeah,
me
all the
little, I
kids
understand.
like that you first started teaching, they're all like little adults now. Like even Bio, like we saw his daughter at the K4 fights, and he's like, yeah, she works in like. I was just like, I couldn't believe it was her. Like, it's just I don't know. These kids, they grow up, and it's a little
So
nuts.
I wrestled like a month ago, maybe more now, and there was this kid that was coaching, and he came up to me. He's like, "You remember me, coach?" I was like, "I don't know. I coach a lot of people. I thought I coached him in jiu-jitsu. Like I coached him in wrestling when he was 4. He's got to be
Oh my god.
like 28 or 29. Like I was like, "Oh
Well, that
damn,
means you
man."
haven't changed then, right? That means you haven't changed if he recognized you, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Jeff hasn't changed. I feel like you've looked the same for like since I've known you.
I
I will
just
say
grayer.
today I had about between 5 and 10 people who came up to me, Mike. I don't know who they were. Like they look super familiar. I no idea, but I was like, yeah, bro, it's good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
But I feel like though too, like even if like I don't like recognize people or know people, like sometimes or even like people like from other gyms that like we like saw that we were trained with at some time, like dude, like I'm always wishing good things for them. Like I always hope they do good. Like I always want to like stay in contact and have like decent relationship. Like you said, it doesn't always have to be so tense. Like that's what was so good about this Buffalo Classic, I feel like compared to the other ones. There wasn't like that tension like you had mentioned. Like
it was good to see. I told Ashley, dude, I was so happy. My boy Alex Castellano.
Oh
and,
yeah,
Mix
was there.
it's,
Pat Mix
dude,
made
Yeah.
an appearance?
yeah, dude, it's great to see
Superfly?
these people.
It's good.
So I saw Superfly in his car as I was going to grab my towel. To
I
shower,
missed him.
but I
I'm a little
didn't see
sad.
him when he went back. I don't know. I didn't bump into him.
It's so
I
crazy
tried to
that
bump into him.
someone that won $1 million in Bellator just comes and hangs out at the tournament
Yeah.
too. You know, like it's
Yeah.
awesome. It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's how good Josh is, man. I love Josh to death.
Yeah.
It's so awesome they put this together.
Yeah, he does so much work. Like I said, it's like I don't think people realize like people don't even realize like how much work goes into like teaching. They have no idea how much work goes into actually like organizing a whole tournament. Like he does so much work and puts so much into this in the community and stuff, and like I don't know, he just does a lot of stuff. Like I always like praise Josh. Like he like does so much, and he's just kind of like quiet about it. Like he never like asks for praise, and like just as like quiet and humble as like they come and just does it. And
so Josh is the first person that I ever saw win the absolute division at Fredonia. I remember he had a lucky gi on. This had to be in 2008. And he won at Fredonia, and I just remember, wow, that is the best guy. He was a blue belt, and I was like, wow, that is the best guy in the tournament. And then I remember Nogi lost like a 10th planet guy. He got like a shitty call, or I remember there was some kind of controversy to it. But yeah, that's the first time I met you. I didn't introduce myself till I think a few years later or whatever. But
did you say your name was Jeff?
no, but that was my first experience with Josh. I remember him watching win the absolute at Fredonia.
So the first time I ever met Mike, this is the funniest story
Yeah,
ever.
I was gonna say we gotta tell this story.
Mike walked up to me and he shook my hand. He's like, "Hello, my name's Jeff." I was like, "Hey, Jeff, it's nice to meet you. That's my name." No, he's like, "No, my name's Mike."
That's true.
See, so for those who like saw Mike's comments on my story about how awkward he was with me, that didn't believe me, you just heard it from Jeff too. Like
It happened.
That was at that fight where you smashed I can't remember his name. That kid with all the muscles.
Yeah, I won't mention his name, but
Yeah.
Dude, that's like probably one of my like favorite athletic accomplishments. I have a couple in bowling that
This
I'm
is the one
pretty
I'm
proud
thinking
of.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so the video just got re-released. They sent it to me. It got deleted off of YouTube for whatever reason. But the guy who posted it sent me you're right, Kevin. Sent me the video, and I tell people that in the video it didn't do it justice how loud it got. Like, dude, he came out with a whole crew. I had a ton of people like of his crew talking smack to me on my way to the ring or cage. Like, it was wild going into that fight. I was literally just talking about that. Like, it's great when people are saying, oh, like you had to sell tickets. So it's like, hey, I'm fighting. Do you want to come to my fight? I got tickets. Who are you fighting? Show them a picture. Oh, that guy? You're gonna get killed. Like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, maybe I might not win, but I know I'm gonna do a lot better than people think. So it's great to like win for the people that support you and stuff like that. But it honestly like feels even better. Like all those people that told you were gonna lose and get smoked and you're gonna get killed. What is that? Like it felt even better to just stick it to those people. You know what I mean?
I was a little bit worried for you, but I wasn't as worried. I didn't think you couldn't win. I just thought like I was a little nervous on the feet. Like he was a big dude, and as soon as I hit the ground, I knew you were gonna get him.
So that first guillotine I had him in was so tight. I have a pretty good guillotine. And even looking back on it, I'm like, dude, I had my chin right on the back of his neck right here. You couldn't see his neck at all. I had my elbow pulled down. I had that tight. I don't know, dude. If you see the muscles in his back, in his shoulders, I don't
He
know.
was huge.
Like, yeah, I'm still interested to this day what he weighed. Um, but dude, honestly, from
Just
the
so everyone
weigh-ins,
knows, he missed weight too.
yeah,
Yeah.
they said he was supposed to fight around once. They said we're supposed to fight at 155. Don asked me who's representing you, and I'm like, represent what? We already signed everything. And Don's like, well, he's around 160. I was like, well, where's around 160? And Bubba was with me. He's like, well, tell him to run around the fucking building. And he's like, dude, he's been here since I forgot what time, 12, 3 o'clock, whatever time it was. He's like, he can't sweat anymore. I was like, okay. I mean, so if that's true, I don't know what around 160 is. What is that? 161, 162,
It means there's a
178? I don't know.
60 in it.
Yeah,
I was
160.
gonna say, he looked big.
So
Like,
then we get to the weigh-ins, and the whole time I was seeing his pictures on Facebook, and he was jacked. He was big and muscular. I'm like, okay, this guy's got to be 5'5". And then when I get to the weigh-ins, he's almost as tall as me, but he is pretty sunken in. The day of the fight, he looked like a different fighter. He completely looked like a different person. I'm like, dude, did I fight the same guy that was at weigh-ins last night? But yeah, it was pretty wild. But dude, the noise, like, I feel like doesn't do it any justice. Like, it's just like the volume got turned out when I finished the submission. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. That was a great fight. I want to circle back to one other thing. Promotions. What do you think about promotions? What does it take to be a blue belt? What does it take to be a purple belt? What does it take to be a brown belt? What does it take to
are
be
you
a black
asking
belt?
both of us or just one
Yeah,
of us?
both of you guys.
I'm the same way, like as him. I think that's like where we agree. Like, I don't know. Like, I would say I'm a reasonable. Like, I have reasonable expectations, but I'm definitely a little bit like harder on people. Um, I feel like I don't know. It depends. Like, I mean, I know different schools do it differently. Some schools test, some schools don't. I see both ways. Like, I'm not like, I don't think there's one better way than the other. Like, I do feel like testing does have its value because you can really see like what people know. The only thing about testing sometimes is people that necessarily don't know it super well can kind of like cram just like you would for an exam in school and just like kind of like get through the testing to get to that next belt level. I guess like I don't know if this is popular opinion or unpopular opinion with me. I don't necessarily think competing should always matter for belt promotions. I think it should have like maybe a part in it, but some people like compete well and they're really good at like certain types of tournaments or certain one thing, but they're not really knowledgeable and well-rounded over like everything. So I don't think that that's always like a super, I guess, like correct thing to like judge people on. I think it can be a part of it, but not like the whole thing. Just because I know some people that even don't compete as well, but they're really good. They're very knowledgeable. They know the moves, they know everything, but maybe like for whatever reason, like you said earlier, there's so much stuff that goes into competing. Like it's a lot more stuff than just knowing jujitsu and knowing what you're doing. Like it's a lot of mental focus, a lot of things going on. And sometimes you're just going to have off days, even if you're really good, you know? Even the best people lose. But I would definitely say I'm a little bit more of like a somewhat tougher grader. It really depends. Like the big thing for me is mat time. Like mat time is the biggest thing for me. Is like I look at somebody that shows up consistently time and time again, and you know they're willing. The willingness to learn too is also a big thing for me. Like I would probably, if it was up to me, I would hold somebody back that's showing up to class, but they're like screwing around and like not really being coachable or like learning. Like they don't have the willingness to learn if they think they know everything. Like I think like the people that are like showing up, repping, training day in and day out, like those are the people I'm going to favor more than the people that are maybe showing up every once in a while, maybe compete well. Like I said, mat time is probably the biggest thing for me. I think blue belt, I feel like for that level, you kind of just have to, I'm not saying you have to know everything, but I think like you need to have a basic understanding of the fundamentals. Like I said in like even the podcast when we talked, my biggest pet peeve is people that are trying to do things that are like crazy and fancy and like doing all this other stuff before like learning fundamentals and basic movement and like really learning that. I think when you get to a blue belt, you really need to have a strong understanding of fundamentals and basically just what jiu-jitsu is, positional awareness, body movement, body awareness. Like you don't have to be like great at anything in particular, but just kind of know a little bit and like just be showing up consistently, putting in the work. Like I always say, like putting in the work is like key for me. Like nothing drives me more nuts than people that are like Mike always says, chase the knowledge, not the promotions. Like because we had heard that, I don't even know who said that originally, but we had heard that from somebody and it just like resonated, I think, with both of us, that like your goal shouldn't be necessarily getting to the next belt level. Your goal should just be being a little bit better tomorrow than you were the day before. Like everybody's on their own journey. Like just focus on yourself and like getting a little bit better and learning. Like learning is key. Like don't try to rush it because sometimes I feel like when people are promoted kind of prematurely, I feel like it's almost more discouraging than it is encouraging because then if they go and compete and they get totally like manhandled or they feel like they don't know anything, I feel like those are the people sometimes that are just going to stop showing up. They're not going to come back like because they're like frustrated with themselves and they realize like kind of like what they don't know or like even rolling in the gym because the thing is anytime you get promoted, the higher belts that are there are going to bump up how they're rolling with you time and time again. And I'm sure you probably do it even as a coach. You're going to roll completely different with somebody that's a white belt than you are against somebody that's a purple belt. You're going to come down to a level and challenge them. Like, so any belt that you get, the people that are above you are going to challenge you more and more and more. So I always say to like even with my own personal promotions, I always said I never wanted to be promoted unless I can like feel like I can be competitive with people at that belt, like, or just know enough and be like knowledgeable enough to know enough. Like I never wanted to be promoted to the next belt just to say, oh, I'm a purple belt or oh, I'm a brown belt. Like to me, it was more important about like the work I put in and it and like trusting in my coaches to think that I was ready for it. Like I think like that's what's kind of great with jujitsu is because like they always say the mat doesn't lie, and like when you roll with somebody, even if it's just at the gym, you're gonna kind of understand what people know and what people don't know. You're gonna see it, especially at the gym. I feel like you see it more because there's really no nerves there. You're gonna understand how people move and like the things that they know compared to the things that they don't know. And I feel like it's kind of good to judge that. But yeah, I don't know. I would say I'm a little bit like tougher of a grader, because I think that people really need to put in the work. Because I think that's what's so great about jujitsu. You're not going to get your black belt in 6 months. Like you're going to have to work for it. And I think that, like, I know for me, like, because of the fact that it took me a long time and like I worked for it and really put in the work. Like he was saying when we watched those people get promoted at Booma at the Theo and Davey seminar, they're so emotional because they know that they work for it. You can see the work that they put into it. And I think that's like the kind of beautiful thing about jujitsu is like really working for it.
That man right there worked for
Avery,
it too.
oh my God. I was so happy for him. I don't know if he was listening earlier, Free, but I mentioned you and your promotion and like how emotional you got and how I could tell like that it meant a lot to you because you work for it. Much love for you.
So
He's another one of those guys that had he just couldn't break through in tournaments. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I wasn't really coaching with like he was at WNY and I was like Integrity and like we worked on Sundays but not much and like man like he just didn't have anyone behind him when he was competing and like he's just down on himself. And then we talked and we talked and we talked and like man, when he competes now he competes like he does in the gym. And like you can see the difference between a guy in the gym and when it's not there on the mat in the tournament. Like it's our job as a coach to make that right. And as soon as he fixed that, man, you could see like he deserves to be a purple belt. He did really good at Blue Belt Masters. Like, man, I love that guy to death. He deserved it a while ago, but like he had to earn it. For me, like some of the guys I train with that I want to promote aren't even my students. So there's a lot of legwork to do this. So like I'm not gonna step on anyone's toes. So like I had to work it out with Dub and then make sure that it was okay with Dub. And then like, like for I have another guy, Joe, who's like I'm thinking about purple, like is close to. So like I gotta talk with Brandon and like man, there's a lot that goes into promotions. And if you're not getting a promotion, your coaches are probably thinking about you. Like if you're sitting there like, oh man, when am I gonna get promoted? Like sometimes it's tough for us too. Like I really like when we were at WNY and we had the black belt thread where we talked about everybody. Like remember that, Mike? I thought that was awesome because we had everyone's input on that.
true.
And
We actually
like
just talked about that the other day.
yeah, me alone is like difficult for me sometimes. Like I want to promote Derek, so I talked to Dub, and if he wanted to fight, I was gonna promote him to blue. Like he's been training since like 2016, 2017, but he never trains in the gi. What do you feel about that?
So I mean, I think like if you want to be promoted in the gi, you should probably wear the gi. 10th Planet, they do no gi, but I've also seen MMA fighters get promoted. Obviously I don't see their training camps, how much they're training in the gi. Some guys I don't think train in the gi. I guess it's like situational, I suppose. Like it's hard to say like Matt Hughes isn't a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? It's hard to say that. You know what I mean?
It's hard to say that about Pat. Look at Pat. I mean, he puts the gi on now, but like, what about Pat? What about Saul? Like Saul, Saul puts the gi on now too, but like some of those guys never put the gi on. Like it's tough. Like his fundamentals are so good. Like his escapes are good. Like everything's pretty tight. Like and he's been training a really long time. It's not fair for him to compete against a white belt. Like I don't think you can get promoted like past blue without the gi. But like, what is blue? Is it like fundamentals? Is it grip? Like what is it? Like we don't really.
I think it's more fundamentals, but I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Like to me, it's also about can you teach somebody how to do something, right? So there was a great article, and I was talking about it with somebody within the last couple months. I wish I could find it. Yeah, Khabib's all right, but he's never subbed to me once. He's never taken me down. But
he would ragdoll you.
Theoretically, but we never seen it. But,
he didn't show up today. You won. You beat him. He wasn't there today.
Exactly. So there was a great article
Yeah.
on BJJ Eastern Europe, and it was talking about Mickey Rodriguez when he won the ADCC trials, right? And they're like, blue belt wins. Is he sandbagging? And then there was a great article. It's like, no, he wasn't. When you go to tournaments, you're playing your A game, right? Your number one goal, most of the people, 95, 99% of the people, it's not really working on things, right? Their goal is probably to win. So they're playing their A game. So some people just have a really good A game. But their B, their C, their D, when things go bad, I heard this expression, I think it was in George Masvidal and Colby Covington they were talking about. I can't remember which one was talking to which one. But they said he's a really good hammer, but he's terrible at being the nail, right? So when things are going good, sure, they're going to look great. But when things, like, dude, anybody can hit a punching bag, you look good. But when they're hitting back, it's like, let's see how well they do. Let's see how they do in bad positions. Like, who knows how Mickey Rodriguez's guard was, his close guard. Can he teach at the time? Now, this was years ago. I'm sure now, of course, he's way better, right? But at the time, they were saying, no, he probably was a blue belt. Do I think Jordan Burroughs is a black belt? Probably not, right? But I'm sure he probably would have did pretty well at today's tournament. He probably would have beat, I don't know. You think he would have beat everybody at the tournament today, Jordan Burroughs?
Probably.
You think we're sweeping him?
No.
I don't. Does that mean he's a
Might
black
put a
belt?
shot for a takedown against him too.
He'd run every one of us off the mat. He's got to be so strong too. He would just stand on.
So any D1 wrestler, for that matter, you know what I mean? If that's never trained in the gi, does that mean no? Because why? They probably can't show you a scissor choke. They should be able to teach a little bit too. What?
She's pulling on my shirt.
But like so for me, as far as promotions go, to me it was number one's mat time.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was attitude, attendance. How well they're doing, that's another thing. Are they picking up the techniques? So at one of the gyms I was at, we had like an attendance sheet, which at first I didn't like it. However, I used it as a reference. If it said 20 classes and somebody got a stripe, if person A I thought was ahead of the curve, maybe I'll give it to them in 18 classes. If somebody was a little bit wasn't doing as well, or maybe they just showed up late to class, or maybe they didn't roll after, whatever, maybe they had a bad attitude, whatever reason. If I felt they needed to be held back, I would promote them at 25 classes, 30 classes. It was just a guideline for me. It wasn't like set in stone. I didn't like a blue belt telling me that, being a black belt, that, hey, this person had 20 classes, they need to stripe. I didn't like that. But that's what that is. I didn't like testing for belts at the beginning. What did I know? I was a white belt. What did I didn't like testing. I thought it was stupid. I'm like, why can't I just show 10 different ways to do a triangle, whatever. Then after I tested, I actually loved it. It forced me to learn things that I never would have thought of learning. I actually, if it was up to me, I would do a test because it kept everything fair too. It made everybody had to know this. And if they knew it, they had to teach. They could teach the next people who are going to test for their blue belt, purple, etc. So by the time you get the brown belt, you knew those things. I mean, shit. Blue. I remember when I tested for my purple belt, we had a whole list. It was like 3 or 4 pages. I had tested stuff. Like I hold myself to a high standard. I wasn't going to fail that test. I had it memorized so much that I would literally ask people to do stuff out of order because I knew the order. And this is like 3 or 4 pages worth of stuff. I had repped it so many times that I knew the order of it. I would literally just ask people, ask me to do this, ask me to do this. So I actually like the test. And it gives you, and it was, what I liked about it, it was a wide range of stuff too. It wasn't just like, it had close guard, it had escapes, it had submissions from mount, submissions from side control, submissions from guard, Show me 2 open guard sweeps, 3 open guard sweeps. Show me 2 closed guard sweeps. Like, I really like, show me some case escapes. I really like the variety of stuff.
Self-defense. I like the self-defense too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually like, a lot of people hated on that, but I actually liked it because a lot of people get in jujitsu for that self-defense like part. So I feel like it's not like bad to learn. But see, I will say I kind of have like a slightly different opinion than Mike. Like, I'm not opposed to the 10th Planet schools belting without necessarily putting on the gi, because they're still doing jujitsu. Although I do understand that like the traditional jujitsu belts are through like the gi process, but I don't know. I actually like and kind of respect the 10th Planet like system too, and like them, because some of those people have been training for a long time, just putting in just as much mat time as we are, but they just hyper focus on no gi as opposed to doing gi with just a little bit of no gi. I wouldn't say that they're not necessarily deserving of that belt. It's just a little different. I feel like it's kind of weird, but I'm not anti them getting belted without putting on the gi.
Yeah, Eddie Bravo literally said, here's a quote. He said, when you train in the gi, you're just training no gi with the gi on, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I always thought like
my game is pretty much no gi game. Like, there are some stuffs I do with the lapel and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
completely
chokes,
different.
but my game is pretty identical, gi and no gi. The reason being is when I fought MMA, I didn't want to become so reliant upon the gi that when I went to no gi, I was trash. I didn't want it to be, so my best submissions are all no gi submissions. I didn't want my best choke to be cross collar from mount, because that's not going to work in an MMA fight, all right? I didn't want my best choke. I mean, I guess you could do an Ezekiel, but I didn't want my grips to be dependent upon a gi. So I would train in the gi, and I wouldn't grip. I would just stop gripping when I was fighting.
I did the same thing over at Buffalo BJJ. I wouldn't even make grips on the collar I wouldn't grab anything. I just use
Nope. Same.
like underhooks and overhooks, and like I never used the grips at all. Like I had to learn the grip game at purple belt. And it's probably why I was a purple belt for 8 years, because I suck. But
I feel like I'm different than both of you. See, I always say like he's very much similar to gi and no gi. I feel like my gi and no gi game is completely different. Like, I don't know. I wish that I like probably rolled the same and go for the same things, but I don't. Like, I feel like my no gi game and my gi game are like pretty different. Like, I feel like I think
pretty different too, actually.
yeah.
Like,
I think
because
like
you
my
have to
no
train
gi
for the
game.
gi.
Yeah, I think like my no gi game. I feel like I do like a lot of like, because we all started at WNY. Like, I mean, well, not you, but like I started at WNY, and like we were like Dubs was super good at leg locks, like exposed us to leg locks and heel hooks and stuff, like very like right off the bat type of thing. So like I feel like my no-gi game is very like leg lock heavy, and I'm not afraid to do like heel hooks and stuff like that, and I'm very much into like the leg lock game, which you can't really do in the gi and stuff. And I mean, I'll still do other stuff in no-gi, but I definitely feel like I roll with different intentions in both of them, because in gi I love like the back, like I love gi chokes, and I'm very like gi dependent and gi grips. Like I'll play a lot of lasso guard, squid guard, weird stuff like that. So I feel like a lot of times like my both games won't really translate into each other.
I think that a belt, or not a belt, I think a test for a belt is like really, really good, especially like it keeps everyone kind of on the same. I always wanted to do, like at Integrity, I'm going to do a blue belt test where like, so we all have the same fundamentals going forward. So we're all like starting on the same page. And then like, I think in Jiu-Jitsu gets pretty individual by the time we get to purple. So I'm not sure what I want to do for testing there, but like all of our homegrown blues are going to all like test. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do for purple, brown, and black, but I think that's really good. I use attendance and attitude just like you guys do, and skill level too. So like if they have a shitty class, I don't like mark it for attendance, or
Exactly.
if they're not ready, I just don't promote them. Like that happens a lot. Even in the kids, like probably like the hardest kids code. Like Emmett earlier, he's like, I earned my belt today. I was like, no man, you gotta pass the test. You know, like I want all the kids to be on the same level, all the adults to be on the same level, so they could teach each other. So like our systems can work with each other. I think it's really important as a gym to have that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I definitely feel like being a little bit like, I mean, they're kids and I understand that, but you still have to be realistic with them. And like, I appreciate and like respect that you're realistic with them, you know? Like, you still have to work for this. Like, just because like you do well one day or like you do well a couple times, like you still like have to put in the work or you have to be. I think testing for blue is like a very like good thing. Like I said, I base like blue belt on having like a really good fundamental like knowledge. And I feel like sometimes like fundamentals kind of get lost. And what are you doing? But she loves Mike. She's a very daddy's girl. But I definitely feel like the fundamentals get lost. So I definitely feel like I think it's such a good idea that you have to like test for blue belt and just make sure that they have a basic understanding of fundamentals. Like I said, I agree with you. Like once it gets past that, sometimes it's hard to judge because it's when people start developing styles and kind of having their own paths. So it's always hard to hold them to the same thing.
Not only that, like then you have competitors. I think you need to judge
Mhm.
people that are like trying to compete at a very high level, and then your regular athletes because like fucking a purple belt that's going to worlds is probably better than me. Like they're probably gonna beat me every time we compete. Like maybe not at like if it's submission only, but if we go, they're gonna beat me in points for sure. It's probably gonna be like 2-0. Just like
So
today. Like I have a hard time with that.
my thoughts too on that is why not reward the people that are putting in all that work by letting them win some competitions? You know what I mean? So like this guy, he's a blue belt. He's training for worlds. Why not let him win a couple tournaments why not let him enjoy the fruits of his labor? You know, why just throw him right to purple belt? Let him enjoy some of those wins. You know, I'd rather, to me, I would, like in a perfect world, I've talked to Ashley about this before. They would say every 2.5 years, X amount of years, you're getting a new belt. Because I know me personally, Ashley the same way. If I were coming up and it would be like, oh my God, I'm getting my next belt in 6 months, 3 months, 2 months. Holy shit. I do not want to be the people who are looking at is how the hell did he get this purple belt?
Oh God, no.
I would be working my ass off to be is the best I could be. I would rather have somebody think, man, is a blue belt, that man, that guy should be a purple belt, as opposed to being a purple belt and somebody thinking, man, that guy should, how the hell, who gave him this purple belt? To me, that's how I would, me personally, I would want it to be. I never asked, me personally too, the only belt I honestly ever cared about, and I was young too, younger,
I was like young.
was blue, because at the time I felt like I had been training my whole life. I had been training a little over 2 years. I felt like I was training my whole life, and it's hard to tell people, dude, you got to try the sport. It's so amazing. Oh, what belt are you? White belt. How long you been training? Oh, 2 years. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Blue is honestly the only one that I cared about. Then purple, dude. Funny story. I literally had somebody say to me, when I was gonna get tested for purple belt, they go, "Oh, are you tested for purple belt?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, that's weird. That is so and so tested for purple?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, why is that? That guy always smashes me." And I was like, I don't know. Dubs asked me how long I had been training for, and I'm thinking, do you know, like, I take it easy on you? Like, I'm not trying, like, my hardest. I'm actually trying to work a little bit. Like, I was just like, I can't believe somebody said that to me. I was
It
like,
doesn't pay to be the nice guy
I was like,
sometimes.
all right.
Funny story. I used to always let people come in like for first class and like do well against me, like not get submitted, not get position dominated. And then like two people both said, like, man, like he's not that good. I'm not gonna go there. So now, like, I just make sure everybody knows that like they can't do anything. I just pin them to. I don't submit them, but like I pin them to the floor and I don't let them move, no matter how big they are. It's my goal to make them like tap out just from my pressure, like over and over again.
It's so wild that people even think that to me. Like I never understood that. Like I even white belt Ashley wouldn't think like, dude, when people would let me work or I would get in a good position, I'm like, what are they setting up? What are they doing? They're just letting me win. Like I was always so hyper like skeptical about it. So it's so like strange to me that people would be like, I'm not going to this guy's gym like because like I just smash it. Like really? Like do you really think somebody that's like a gym owner, like their goal is to like just manhandle you, like you said? Like you
It is
want to
now.
be like nice. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't blame you. Like it's wait, what? How did he even get up there?
Oh no,
Sorry.
cat. Wait.
Okay. Yeah, he's trying to eat my bamboo plant.
Oh,
We moved like one chair and now they're like it's a free for all.
it's like this. I thought.
I had a guy last week. So I was competing today. Right? This is last week. And generally, like in training, you've rolled with me, right? Or maybe students, or if you're listening to this, you've rolled with me. I'm not rolling with you like it's the world's.
Unless it's me.
Yeah. So I had this guy I was rolling with, and he's like, "Come on, let me do that." I was like, "No, I didn't." Come on, you let me. Like, okay, all right. He goes, "Come on, man, you're not even trying." I was like, "All right, fuck this." So I swept him, and I go, you know what I said to him? I go, "Come on, man, you let me sweep you," and then I passed. I was like, "Come on, man, you let me pass. What are you doing?" I'm like, dude, I don't know. I try to roll. I try to roll easy. You know what I mean? Like, I try to work. So my goals in jiu-jitsu, I think, are different than other people's. My
He's
goal,
not even the kids.
my goal is not points. My goal is I'm not good at points because my goal is self-defense in jiu-jitsu. So I use jiu-jitsu for if it's a one-on-one. This is the way I look at jiu-jitsu. It's a one-on-one. Willie, we love you. It's
Sorry, be right back.
Yeah.
Boo!
I'm sorry, my cats are unruly. Come on, Los.
I can't hear you. No.
Oh,
She
it's
went
coming
away
from-
with the speaker part.
I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
Boo. I'm going to talk while you guys are fixing everything. So the other day I had a kickboxer guy come up to me and like he's like his second day of class and he's like, "Oh, I got you. You're not even hitting me that hard. Like I felt like I was doing really good. So Luke, come for you next time we spar, just so you know." That's my story. That was really quick. I thought Ashley was gonna be quicker.
I'm trying.
Come on, Ashley.
I'm trying. I was like,
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I can hear you now that
Hi.
she's close.
So,
Shannon, if you're watching, come get your nephew.
yeah. So my thoughts on it, it's one-on-one. One of us is going to survive. One of us can walk away from this. I can't get away from this situation. So the way I look at it is my number one goal is to make sure that I'm not going to get submitted. That should be my number one priority. If I can't get submitted, eventually I'm going to get the person, right? I want jiu-jitsu to be like, I could show people, this is why I won. This is why I lost. I don't want it to be, well, I kind of got by his hips for a second, so I got an advantage. My goal is submissions. So I give up bad positions sometimes to go for submissions. It happens. But just points game isn't my thing. These cats are being nuts.
It's Mosey.
All right, let's. What are your final thoughts on tournaments, guys? On the Buffalo Classic tournament.
Dude, I loved it. I'm telling you, like, good vibes. Like, oh my god, you should hear him moaning. I'm sorry, but dude, I had a great experience. I thought everyone was super cool. Josh touched on it in his podcast. One thing he noticed before the match, shook hand. After the match, hugs. every all the matches, win, lose, there was a lot of mutual respect amongst everybody. It was great to see all the black belts competing that did. I think we had 10 or 11, which is cool. We've been around long enough. We don't have anything to prove to anybody. You know, like we went out there and did our best.
No, you can't go away because then they're not gonna be able to hear. It's fine. Just let them go. They'll figure it out.
They're nuts, dude.
They'll figure it out.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
I thought the tournament was awesome. We did like a good job as a community coming together. It was great to see Flores get his black belt. It's great to see everyone do good. It's good to see a lot. Like I go there and I see a lot of people I haven't seen them for a really long time, and it's just a great experience to see everybody and watch everyone grow and see how they're doing in life and stuff too. So I love going there. It's great to see. I do have one more thing to say about belts. Like eventually you're gonna get a black belt. So like if you rush through it when you're a black belt, you'll be like, man, I wish I was this belt longer. I wish I was this belt longer. I wish I was this belt longer.
Yeah,
If you're-
I was gonna say that's what we talk about all the time. I always
Yeah.
say like you don't realize like when you're going through it, I feel like some people, but I always like say like just enjoy the journey. Enjoy your belts. Like I don't know, like I always say like it's just a journey. It's a process. Like enjoy the journey. Like they always say, it's cliche as it sounds, it's so true. Like don't rush it. Just enjoy it. Like I'm for good, bad, like we talked about a little bit of it on like my personal podcast that I had with you, like good, bad, everything in between. Like I enjoyed and like learned from all of the stuff, like from white belt to blue belt or from white belt to black belt. Like just like enjoy it, like enjoy the journey, grow with the journey. If you rush it, like I feel like you're just like kind of robbing yourself of the time and experience. Like experiences matter more than I feel like the actual like belt. Like just really like learn as much as you can, experience it. Because once you get to black belt, like you're not gonna have those like new belt promotions every couple of years. Like it's pretty much like you still have to stay motivated. You still have to come to the gym all the time and train. But there's not that like motivation of the next belt. Really.
George told us at the seminar, he told us, what do we get now? We get a couple stripes. What does that mean? We just got older. You know, like, so enjoy the belts.
Yeah.
And
Which I
once you
never
start-
thought of.
If you want to like travel and go to other places, the best time to do is like blue belt too. Like no one's trying to. When you're a black belt and you travel, you have to be careful. Some gyms like I won't be trying to kill you, so like you gotta be a little bit more careful when you travel too.
I'll add one thought to like people say like a belt only covers what? Inch your ass, 2 inch. What do they say?
Inch your ass.
Inch your ass, right? So I think belts actually make you better. So I think people consciously, subconsciously, they go after the new blue belt harder than they would a white belt, or they go the purple belt, because consciously or subconsciously, they're trying to prove to either themselves or the professor that, hey, look at me, I subbed this purple belt, I should be a purple belt. That happens a lot, I feel like. So it makes you tougher, right? It stings more when you're a purple belt tapping to a white belt than a blue belt, right? It stings more when you're a brown belt and you get tapped by a white belt. It stings more when you're a black belt getting tapped, like as opposed to when you were a blue belt or a purple belt.
Did you guys get some acai?
Yes.
I didn't. I was cold. I'm always freezing, and I just felt like it was gonna make me too cold, and I was running around all over the place today.
Gotta make sure we shout out. He doesn't sponsor this at all, but I still love him enough to give him a shout out.
Oh, I regret not having acai because literally he has the best acai bowls that ever. Like I wish he had a shop that I can go to every day. Seriously, shout out to Joao and what is it, the Acai Project?
Yeah.
They did great and super good dude. Again, we trained with him, but even if we didn't, I would still love his acai bowls. They're the
If
best.
you want some knockoff ones, I have them at Dashes too, but they're not as good.
I was gonna say Dashes is like probably the next best ones. Like and like I mean, well, you live over there, we live over there. We live by each other, so it's probably like the next best thing, but
So I'll tell you this too. My favorite moment of the tournament was winning the team trophy. that meant a lot to me. Like, so.
I'm so excited about
Oh, dude, that made my day. Just, I remember my bowling coach back in high school. He said you could go to states as an individual or you could go as a team. He goes, if you go as an individual, he goes, who's going to be happy for you? You, your mom, maybe your girlfriend, right? But when you get to celebrate stuff as a team with more people, you have people to share that with. So we always chose team when we wanted to bowl for at sectionals. In '98, we ended up going to states with our female team, and we sent to individual, which is cool. But you get to share that with people. It's always more fun to share victories with people than solo victories. What do they say? It's lonely at the top or something like that. Like, who are you celebrating it with? Your girlfriend, your mom? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, you win team events. Everybody, when Josh told us, dude, I almost cried. I really did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a local tournament, but you know what? To me, that was like my worlds. Like, to me, local tournament, I'm not good enough for worlds. Like, I'm not. I'm too old. I'm just not good enough, right? And it's too expensive. I'm poor. But to compete in a local
Sorry.
tournament, I'm gonna do the best I can, and that's all I got, you know. So to me, that it means a lot to compete locally. So Josh, I appreciate the tournament and hosting a tournament. I hope you do one in September. I want a rematch with Jeff Nogi. Super.
Oh, no,
Yes.
good count for
Yes,
that,
yes,
dog.
yes. I'll ref that one. I'll be like the guest referee just for that one. I promise I will be unbiased. But no, I was like he said, honestly, that was a highlight for me. Like, we were such on a high after that happened because I don't know, like, honestly, and this is no like disrespect to any place that I've ever been at. I'm so happy now. Like, I'm so happy at this place. I'm so happy about like the new friendships that I've like made at this house or at this place. Plus the friends that I get to train with again that have known me since white belt. Like, I'm so happy. I was like a proud mom today. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I don't have like regular kids. I have cats, but like, dude, I was so proud of everybody who competed from our team and how good that they did and that they like really went out and represented well, and win or lose, like, I was so happy for them. Like you said, like, you turn into the hype woman. Like, I was so hyped for all of them and so excited. And when we won it, like, seeing Eduardo is like the nicest, most humble guy. Like, seeing him so excited, like, he grabs it and he's like,
We're gonna get him on your show.
Yes, we will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really want to get him.
Oh my god, like I said, he's the nice, and he grabbed the trophy and he was like, and like, I was like, hey, like, congratulations, like, I'm super happy. And he, like, right away he was like, no, like, it's all them, like, they're the ones that compete and stuff like that. And he's like, it's all them. And I'm like, it is, like, they're the ones that are going out and competing, but a lot of like competing is like coaching and leadership. And I go, like, as much as Mike and I teach there, like, he's like the main instructor there, and I'm like, you are such a great like leader, and you lead by example. He's so friendly, he's so nice, he's so caring of his students. Like, he really puts in the time, and both Mike and I tried to do that too as well. Like, we really genuinely care about the students there and like want to make people better and like want to be there for them, like, whether they win or lose. Like, if they lose, I'm gonna hug them the same way that they win, you know. And it was just like that. I think for me and Mike, it was like that long journey and road. It was like kind of like the validation of like a lot of the hard work and stuff, like, and like getting to the point where we're actually happy now. It was just like, it kind of like paid off. It's like the hard work and like all the changes that we went through. And like, we talked about it a little bit on the podcast a couple of days ago about like all the different changes. They're not always easy to make, but when you get there and you like see success and you see happiness in that, and life's about being happy and like happy and finding that pursuit of happiness. And when you get there and like you do well and you see your friends doing well, like, I was more excited about Mike winning. Like, I was super proud of him, like, winning his division, and I thought he looked super good compared to like other competitions that he's done, and like seeing like
You did look.
teammates
I was a
compete
little bit
well.
nervous. I was a little bit nervous to go against you today, Mike. You look on fire.
hair. Now we'll never get rid of the blonde hair, unfortunately, though. But
What was he?
I
It
mean,
still
we'll
doesn't
learn
make
how
him
to deal
wrestle
with it.
better.
I know, it happens, but no, it was really great. It was definitely like a highlight. Like I'm still in a high from it. Like I'm just so excited and so happy and so proud of like everybody. Like I really honestly couldn't ask for a better team. Like I'm so happy, and even people that aren't on our team, like he said, like, and you even said, like, we all know each other by this point. It's so great to see people and talk to people, and I think that's what's so great about having local tournaments is because it's still a relatively small community, like seeing everybody that we know and just being able to like talk to each other and catch up, and it's great. Like everybody for the most part is super awesome, and I think Josh does such a good job with like organizing everything, and he definitely deserves like all the credit in the world for doing this and really putting a lot of time and energy into it.
Yeah.
So
Kevin,
just
I
for
was
everyone
worried.
that's watching that doesn't know where you guys are from, Team GFT Spar. They're at Spar, and Ashley, you know the address?
No, I didn't.
Transit.
I know. Oh my god, dude, they were all like so happy though. They didn't even like nobody called me out about the address though. But we are on Transit in front of the Eastern Hills Mall in the old Jada Blitz next to the Ninja Warrior training in front of Jada Blitz. So if you ever want to check it out, both me and Mike coach, and Eduardo is awesome too. He coaches and teaches, and Sean.
All the coaches are great. Kevin,
Yes.
I was worried about your Kimura. I remember watching Kevin at Raging Wolf rip a Kimura on somebody, and I was like, I know Kevin's a nice guy. He wouldn't rip it on me. But man, I was working my Kimura defense.
It is
Kevin
true.
ripped
He
that
was
shit right
working
off.
it.
He's not that nice.
I was to say that is true. He was working that today before we left the house. So
Yeah, I honestly don't like warming up too much on the mat. Maybe I'm self-conscious like at the tournament. I would prefer to warm up just at the house or whatever. I feel like people are watching me. That's the one fight at the Rainbow Rink. I just felt like I couldn't get away from people. Like I felt like people were watching me. I didn't like it. I liked always like the fights where you had your own locker room and people weren't watching you. I don't know.
can I ask you a question, Jeff, even though this is your podcast?
Sure, always feel free.
What was your favorite part of the tournament today, and what did you take away from it?
I'm not sure I want to say what my favorite personal part was, but my favorite part was watching Matt get his black belt. That was my that was the best moment. And to be honest with you, my favorite moment is this is the first time I ever choked Mike out since we're blue belt. I was like,
Dude,
since
I was
we're blue.
surprised. I was actually like, I know I probably shouldn't say this sitting next to Mike here, but I was like low-key like super proud and happy for you that you tapped into a choke, because nobody knows more than me how hard it is to choke this man. If you get a choke, like you earn it. Like,
Yeah, I'm stubborn.
and like
I
he's
don't like
super
taking
like
chokes.
he was the first person I ever put unconscious, and like I didn't even realize it. And like so when I saw you choke him and he like tapped to it, I was like low-key proud of you, but I couldn't like stand up and celebrate. Like I was just like, yeah, but I'm sorry, Mike. But yeah,
I've been trying to choke you forever, dude. Like we used to battle, and everyone would joke that we're the two unchokeable people, like because we're
oh
both
yeah,
very
that's what I
difficult
was
to choke.
saying.
Yeah, that was good.
When he went from
Yeah.
the triangle, I was like, he's so hard to choke.
Yeah, dude, that was in my head too. I'm like, dude, when I had it, I'm like, dude, I'm wasting my time. I'm like, he is so hard. I was like, Jeff is so hard to choke. I'm like, what else do I got? I'm like, I gotta think of something else on the spot right here.
Poke him in the eye, maybe.
Yeah, poke me in the eye. That works good. I'm not saying that to be like braggadocious, but like to me, like it's huge that I could ever catch you. Like I never in my life thought I was ever gonna catch you in a choke. Like
Yeah, I didn't think so.
and like even to train with you.
Congratulations, Jeff. You did great
Yeah.
though. Like I was super proud of you. Like, and we were both rooting for you. Like even after, like I said, like it's weird too. Like I feel like because we get to a point, like especially you guys, you've all known each other forever. Like it was plug his nose and cover his mouth.
That don't work. I keep the
that
blood in
works.
here.
Hey, Kevin, I'll tell you this. I had a black belt. I won't say who had me in a choke. I literally just went like this. I looked at him like this, and I go, here, let me help you. Let me help you. So I started like plugging my nose. I go, here, let me help you. I was like, you're so close. I was like, what? I
Was that me?
No, it wasn't you.
Because I was gonna say that's the stuff he does to me all the time. Mike talks a ton of shit to me. Like I always say, like people think like Mike is hard on them. I don't feel bad for them, like not even like the tiniest bit. Because I'm like, try being me, because he is 10 times harder on me. Like, I mean, it's great because we both are very hard on each other and like motivate each other, and we're super competitive with each other. Like Mike once told somebody that he would rather lose to anybody else in the gym besides me, even brand new people,
Yeah, 'cause
which I was really offended
right
about.
home with that. I gotta live with her. I gotta hear it. I'll say this too, like, so I have people try to submit me with like some of my favorite submissions. I'll literally look them dead in the eyes and I will say, "Have you ever seen the Rocket rock bottom?" What?
Yeah,
So
we're proud of you for choking Mike.
I just want to say, like, if it wasn't for Joe K, you probably would have commented that broad applauded too. Like, he does that shit to me all the time. So, like, he ruins your game for you.
Joe,
Yeah, Integrity Joe.
Integrity.
That's like one of my favorite things. Although I actually favor Tarko Platas a little bit more than Barato Platas now. But yeah, probably. But I'm always for people hitting them. So Joe K, if you're listening, good work.
Respect.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate the roll. It was like so good to roll with you. It always is.
Mm-hmm.
Always, bro.
We always have so much respect for you. Like I always hype you up. Like I thought Jeff was standing there next to me today at the tournament. I was like, you're the best. He's like, and he's like totally like getting a little more. He's like, wait, me? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're the best.
I agree.
And he was just like, oh, I'm like, and then he's like, no, I'm like, you got the best podcast. And he's like,
I agree with that. I do got the best
yeah.
podcast.
I said
I'm
Ray
not the
couldn't
best,
make it
though.
again.
I know, Ray.
I know, we missed you, Ray. He did say like earlier, I think he said love you guys, so love you too,
Yeah.
Ray.
Ray is actually he took his girlfriend Shar to immediate care. They're all a little sick, so
Yeah.
he was not able to make today. Might not be able to make tomorrow either. So when we do Joe Taylor tomorrow, it might just be me for everyone that's listening that actually watches just a podcast, not jiu-jitsu people. But Ray will be back as soon as he can.
Oh, well, sending good vibes and well wishes to you, Ray.
Yeah, he's not fucking you on purpose. And then we gotta get you back on, Mike. We gotta do. I want to try and get all the black belts again. Like I want to go through like.
We should do like one all of us at a time. That'd be really
oh my god.
I'll say this. A guy at
be
my
a
gym
panel.
was talking to me about it, and I told him I did a podcast with you. How many years ago? 6, 7? 6?
Yeah, 6 or 7. Yeah, it's still up. You can definitely find it.
Yeah. So I told him a lot of my opinions have changed since then. I would say like for example, the women's only. I think before I didn't like it because I thought it was discriminating. However, after thinking about it a lot more, it's because I'm like, why don't we have one for males under 120 pounds? You know what I mean? Or this or this. But I think the gym would have actually had it if we had a demographic for it. You know what I mean? If there was 20 guys under 120 pounds that
well, I think too, it's just that guys don't always understand like the struggles and different things that women go through that make them not comfortable with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So I think there was a quote by Muhammad Ali, and he said that if you ask a man who has the same opinion as he was 35 as he did was 25, I'll show you a man who wasted 10 years of his life. I'm pretty sure that's how the quote went. It went something to that effect. So my opinions definitely have changed in the last 6 years on certain topics. Thanks to my boo. She changed.
Yeah, I've changed a lot too. I used to think like if you can't roll, you should never be promoted. It didn't even matter what you knew. Like I'm so different now. Like I've changed so much in the last like even like as a coach, I changed more and more too. Like you see more and more different people struggle through different things and opens your eyes to a lot of stuff. I mean, you don't know things to experience them, you know.
Yeah.
And like you learn a lot teaching.
I was gonna say that's when I felt like I started learning the most. Honestly, is like teaching and like coaching and stuff. Like you said it. You said it perfectly. Like it opens your eyes and you meet different people and different struggles and you see a lot of different things and you have to. Like you even said before, like you felt like teaching makes you better. I feel it the same way because you have to break things down to people that don't know anything about this, especially like day one people. It's just very interesting. I feel like it gives you a different perspective of it. Like when you're just worried about yourself and just training, I feel like it's so easy to get in certain mindsets, but when you're coaching and teaching, it's just, it really definitely does change your perspective on a lot of things, I feel like.
I vote myself coach of the day for the snacks.
Dude, you were. He was the MVP. He shared his bananas with me, and he gave me a free water. I was pumped.
Yeah, so I almost cried when we were in
It's
the team
important,
trophy, and I almost cried when I saw 3, or not Oreos, chocolate chip cookies on the ground.
Yes. You know what? Them kid Harper, Aurora, and London. You dropping cookies on the ground. Wasteful. Wasteful.
Oh no, I ate them. I ate them anyway.
Who said
Oh,
that
okay.
they were having cookies earlier here on the? Was it Kevin? Did Kevin say he had cookies? Because I was
Yeah,
like,
he
share
only
the
has 6
wealth.
cookies.
I
didn't
want
offer
cookies.
Kevin any cookies. He's too big. He's rooted against me. Screw him.
I didn't even like, but see, I don't really like Oreos though. I'm not an Oreo fan. I know that's like unpopular opinion. Sorry for the people that are fans of Oreos.
I don't like the double thick Oreos. The double stuff.
Same, Kevin.
Peanut butter
Actually-
Oreos are phenomenal. You guys are.
I've never had them.
So great.
See, I'm
If you
more
like
like,
peanut butter, they're great.
I'm not a huge sweets person. I'm more of like a savory person. Like fresh cut fries and French fries are my weakness. Like, I can probably eat my weight in fries.
I just
Like,
came off the carnivore diet today, eating Cheez-Its and cookies, and I had ice cream. I'm gonna have pizza. I'm not gonna feel too good tomorrow at the gym. Sorry, guys. All right, I gotta
You
get out of here
deserve
because I gotta go get pizza for Forrest before all the pizzerias close. Thank you guys so much for jumping on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I
It was
appreciate
fun
it.
to
Thank you
talk
for
to
the
you
match.
about
Thank you guys for
everything.
being awesome. Thank you guys for making the community better too.
Thank you for making the community better and being like such a great part of like allowing people that are local to have like a platform like this. It's super important.
Yeah, we'll be at Integrity one of these coming Friday.
Yes.
Also,
Well,
check out Grappling Industries. We'll probably see you there. We'll be coaching, or not coaching, but we're actually repping there. So next weekend, say hi to us.
Yeah,
We'll be around.
Not an academy. It's a great tournament.
We could do no-gi right there, Mike. We can probably both sign up still.
Set it up.
I'll be the rep. I'm
Oh,
ready.
belt. Josh catching super fight.
He's awesome. All right, that's my Jared that lost a lot of weight. I really gotta go, or I'll talk to you guys all night. We're already over 2
See
hours.
ya.
Peace, guys.
Oh, sure.
Take it easy.
Peace. See ya.
You guys are the best. Thank you for listening.